Police are looking into another murder. A man was shot to death at Christie Park overnight, where the Roots Junkanoo Group was holding its Junkanoo practice. Eyewitnesses say the victim was shot multiple times. It's not clear what motivated the attack. The Bahamas Union of Teachers has filed a trade dispute against the government. President Belinda Wilson claims the government has breached a part of the union's industrial agreement, which speaks to World Teachers' Day. Our Charisma Robinson reports on why the union feels it's been deprived and how education officials are responding.
Over the last 5 years, Wilson says teachers have had a full day off for World Teachers' Day. However, without any consultation with the union, that has changed. In 1996, UNESCO declared that teachers throughout the world would be celebrated on October 5th. Wilson says the union is standing up for teachers, as the theme for this year's celebrations is Stand Up for Teachers.
This year, we would have agreed that the employer would celebrate us. They would award teachers. We would have teachers going to the government house to be recognized. The Prime Minister would do a proclamation in honor of teachers. And instead of that being done, we were given a circular stating that it will be half a day.
The union filed that dispute with Director of Labor Harcourt Brown this morning and expected to have an answer before tomorrow.
We are standing together, and we're going to celebrate with our teachers tomorrow in a full fashion, 100%.
But if that doesn't happen?
Then we're having an emergency meeting tomorrow morning throughout the entire Bahamas at 8 a.m. So all teachers, stay tuned.
During a phone interview, Director of Education Lionel Sand said that the industrial agreement signed between the government and BUT earlier this year does not provide for any time off for World Teachers' Day.
Article 27.1 and 27.2 indicate that the World Teachers' Day will be a part of the 196 days of attendance of teachers at school. In the past, teachers have been given half day off to celebrate World Teachers' Day. This year, no different from the past, we agreed to give a half day off.
Sands says the union was wrong for filing that dispute. He says the ministry stands by its position. Reporting for ZNS News Network, I'm Charisma Robinson.
Well, it got hot in the kitchen today. Nearly 12 student chefs competed at the Culinary Hospitality and Management Institute this afternoon for the chance to represent the country at the American Culinary Federation Southeast Region Conference, March 2013. Only 5 will make the cut, going up against teams from 8 states, including Florida, Georgia, and Alabama. COB Department Head Donna Williams says 4 international chefs have been brought in to select the team.
Students have to prepare a escoffier, which is a classical dish, and the chefs are looking at their skills, but they're also looking at several other elements that are very important to the culinary profession, such as sanitation, their timing on getting the dishes prepared. They're also looking at the skills and, most of all, the taste of the food and the presentation of the items.
Levy Restaurant's executive chef Frank Abinacci says the team shows great promise and expects with more coaching that the team could win the regionals. Certified executive pastry chef Kimberly Brock Brown also recalls the pressure of competing on the international stage.
They definitely need coaching, and really it's all about practicing. And once they understand all the basic fundamentals, their food is actually coming out great. The flavors are there. Processes are there, but I think that they definitely have to practice, and really it's all about building confidence, and that's what we're trying to do, is to really inspire them to really get the confidence that when they go into an arena and compete, that they're very confident about themselves and are able to execute properly.
A lot of pressure. I mean, so I can understand the nerves and the hands are shaking sometimes, and you make the little crazy mistakes because you're not thinking, or you're just overthinking things sometimes. So it can be pressure-wracking and nerve-wracking, especially if you haven't done it or haven't done it for a while. And this is their first competition. They haven't even competed. They're competing against themselves right now, which is sometimes even harder than when you're going head-to-head with somebody else.
Well, young people need to be encouraged. They also need to be showcased. But why are we showcasing them? We're showcasing them to show an area of need. to show a synergy between what we're doing here at COB and what the country is doing in tourism. We now know that in 2 years we need twice the amount of chefs we have now, and we need to get cracking in producing these young people. They're excited about it. They're capable. Now with the advent of the Food Network, it has exposed the awareness to what this side of food science can do.
Now, if Team Bahamas wins the regionals this year, they'll advance to the national competition slated for Las Vegas, Nevada next year. The last time the Bahamas won the ACF conference was back in 2002. Social workers are investigating at least 20 reported cases of abuse against senior citizens in the last year. In fact, Senior Welfare Officer in the Senior Citizens Division of the Social Services Department says the majority of those cases involve neglect. And while 20 cases might not seem like a lot, Ms. Stewart explains why it's alarming.
Statistically, worldwide speaking, it's been forwarded that there are at least for every one case of abuse that's actually reported, there are between 5 to 15 that are not reported. So we can look at that as to maybe 100 or 250 cases where that's not been reported. And sometimes you have cases where when you try and question, you try and find out what's going on, then you don't get any more information because persons do not want to be involved.
Ms. Stewart revealed those statistics at the Older Persons Month Abuse Symposium at the Transfiguration Baptist Church today. The symposium brought together a wide cross-section of professionals, including social workers, nurses, pastors, police officers, and urban renewal workers. And while there have been a number of physical abuse cases reported, Ms. Stewart says the department is also seeing an increase in financial abuse cases where family members take advantage of older relatives for money. But from this symposium, the group will come up with legislative recommendations which will later be forwarded to the Department of Social Services to help counter these types of cases.
Find out if the person who is actually being abused, whose assets are being misused, have decision-making capacity. What are they saying about it? What do they want? And we try to work with the judicial system and the existing laws of the Bahamas to actually, and social casework to look at the family dynamics so that we can alleviate and stop the problem of financial abuse. Sometimes we may have to, some cases, persons may have to be taken to one of our group homes to live so that they can be protected from unscrupulous family members.